Hey guys, midweek energy update. Let's get into it. As I had mentioned in my last video that I did for Monday, I feel like we have finally hit sort of the turning point of the summer energetically. I think that things are going to start to chill out and calm down a little bit now. The intensity and the tension that has been very present throughout, especially this past couple of weeks, should begin to wane out, especially as we do hit the midpoint Wednesday of our week this week. And I think that things should now begin to open up a little bit, clear up a little bit, make a little bit more sense, and start to finally begin to move forward and things sort of begin to fall back into place again. And why am I saying that? First of all, we have Mercury stationing direct today. That's always a good thing. And also all of these squares, specifically the Jupiter-Saturn square that have been such defining features of our summer thus far. They're beginning to separate, they're beginning to break apart, and this should also help the tension ease a bit and things to begin to clear up and move forward. So we have energy shifting. Things are opening up. We're not fully out of the weeds yet. We do still have a pending Mars-Neptune square, and Venus is opposite Neptune. Still not the best time to pull the trigger on, big investments, commitments, major choices and decisions and stuff. But we are making progress, you guys, and we've got some astrology to talk about today. Let's get into our report. Let's put it all together and see what things might be looking like for us as we hit the midpoint of our week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field for more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an additional energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. That's going to happen at the end. We're going to start at the beginning with the astrology and Mercury stations direct today. That's always good news in my opinion. And there's likely to be an emphasis on news, information, conversation, communication, and most specifically, I feel like, especially with this particular Mercury retrograde, maybe some lessons that we've learned or some things that we've uncovered or figured out or gained an awareness of. It could have to do with the past, and it could have to do with the trajectory of the future as well. There's definitely breaking karmic cycle, choosing not to perpetuate a pattern based on some type of enhanced level of awareness that we've gained, some type of wisdom through experience that is changing the trajectory of what's going to happen going forward as a result of breaking from these patterns of behavior that may have represented or defined the way that we lived our life, maybe up until this period of time. This is a very when Mercury stationed retrograde, I was saying I felt like this was going to be a pretty significant Mercury retrograde just because of the way that everything was coming together with that chart back then and all the other energy that we had playing out. And now that we have Mercury stationing direct right now, I mean, we've got 4 important planets in Mercury's sign. We have Jupiter and we have Mars in the sign of Gemini. And if you guys have been following the astrology, you know all about all the big business that's been going on between those 2 planets. We also have Venus right now and the Sun in the sign of Virgo, Mercury's other sign. Mercury and the Sun actually are in a mutual reception right now because Mercury is stationing direct in the sign of Leo, which is ruled by the Sun, while the Sun is transiting the sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. And the whole concept of this Saturn-Jupiter square as well, that also has to do with learning important lessons that expose important truths or align us with, a certain broadened mindset or wisdom that is allowing us or facilitating our process of making different choices, going in a new direction, we're upgrading. There's a definite maturation or upgrade or evolution that is happening in terms of the way that our mind is working, or in terms of our perception or a larger or greater understanding about things. And also, as I mentioned in my last video, and we'll talk about this as well, while we do have this big emphasis happening on, what we've learned, what we figured out, wisdom through experience, the lessons that have been brought into our like purview and domain of whatever we've been going through, that have just been like major prominent themes for us and stuff over this past couple weeks or throughout the course of the summer. They are also in the context of some major relationship changes that are about to start taking place as well, because as I mentioned in my last video, we have a huge, like, Venus is getting hit from like every side, from like every planet. There's so many Venus aspects that are going on this week. And not only this week, like, we have our new moon in Virgo that is coming up on September 3rd, I believe it is. And there is a very interesting Venus alignment that is happening in correspondence with that new moon, which means that that whole lunar cycle is going to be colored by elements of that Venusian energy. And I talked about it a bit in my last video. We'll talk about it more and more as we head towards this new moon, and of course for the new moon, but Venus, the black moon, and the south node all in the sign of Libra lining up. Like, that's telling a very interesting story, of course, in the greater context of all this other energy that's unfolding right now. And we're moving into that. And then, of course, following the Virgo cycle, where those alignments are taking place, what comes after Virgo? It's Libra, and that's Venus's cycle. And with the south node transiting Libra, that's going to be another very, Venus oriented, but especially in the context of like what's ending, what we're being released from, what we're moving on from and leaving behind, because it's no longer like a magnetic reflect, like we're not magnetizing it anymore, you know what I mean? Like, there's a major shift in preferences and value systems that is coming from this Mercury energy, with the Mars and the Jupiter also in the sign of Gemini having squared Saturn. Like, I'm telling you guys, there has, for a lot of people, probably been some major test that we've gone through, or some major lesson that we've learned as a result of something that we've had to overcome throughout the course of the summer. And it is going to change the way that we're going to want to like relate to others in the world around us, and like what we value and what we find worthy, and like how we want to define ourselves as well moving forward. And I was talking about in the last video also, this definite realignment with like what is real and what is authentic and what is deep and what is purposeful and what is truthful. That is going to be the growing appeal, where collective attention is sort of magnetizing and congregating as we move through the rest of the summer into the fall and into the Virgo and the Libra cycles coming up as well. And again, like, it's interesting because the way that energy is setting up right now is very much highlighting both the like mercurial dynamic of things, like the Gemini energy, the lesson gained through experience, the challenge that's been overcome, and the way that it's changed and expanded our mind, and that we've matured as a result of that. And then the flip side of that is also now going to lead to, as a consequence, these major relationship changes and value-based changes and investment commitment type of changes that are going to be happening moving forward. And again, there's still some of this that needs to be worked out a little bit as we, move through this next couple of weeks towards the Virgo cycle and then into the Libra cycle. Mars and Neptune are still in a square. There's still a level maybe of like personal delusion or lack of understanding, or I'm watching a bald eagle fly by right now. Sorry. Just had to take a moment to observe that. Lack of understanding, lack of like proper use of our like energy or motivation, or things just like not coming together for some reason that we need to like overcome or deal with. Maybe some ego issues going on that's probably going to present its own issues, and we'll talk about that over this next couple of weeks. But this really, like, this Mars Neptune square in the context of what we've been through energetically over this past couple of weeks with the Saturn Jupiter square and the Mars Saturn square, it is not that extreme same level of intensity, and it is leading to a greater level of clarity and forward progress that will follow after that. So we are moving in a positive direction. There is a huge emphasis on, again, what we've learned and how it's going to impact who we want to like do life with going forward. Other people are likely to be a very strong emphasis this week, and also, again, like information, conversations. There could also be themes of things coming back around in some type of significant way somehow. But with especially with the Sun Mercury mutual reception that we have going on, that is indicating some type of highlight on information. While Mercury stations, whenever a planet stations in its motion, that amplifies the energy of that planet as well. So there's definite emphasis on Mercury energy. Could be as a result a very busy day, very noisy day. There could be a lot of like information coming in, or there could also be a lot of things coming back around. This Sun on the 28th is actually at 6 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a merry-go-round, and Mercury is at one of my favorite degrees of the zodiac, 22 Leo, where he's stationed, a carrier pigeon fulfilling its mission. So perhaps, like, again, something about lessons learned or information gained, like the message has been delivered, and, you know, although it could be bringing up things that are coming back around at this point, it's like the next rung up the spiral, and as a result, like, we're going to have a different perspective on it, and we're likely to do something different that is going to break a pattern, that is going to release us from something, or that is just going to, you know, change the way that things are going moving forward. We're in a time of some epic change right now. And when I get into the tarot reading as well, the tarot reading was really interesting in the context of where we're at energetically right now, because it's really focused on, like, in every way, like a fresh energy, like a breath of fresh air, and like new beginnings that are on the precipice of coming and emerging now after what could be some like painful endings that have gone on. And Saturn in Pisces squaring Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is a very youthful, like energetic, fresh energy. And in Pisces, this is it's the last sign of the zodiac. This is the end of things. There could have been real issues with like struggling with like difficult loss and stuff that may have happened over this past period of time, where we've been tested to overcome and endure, you know, maybe some really difficult things that we had to go through or that we had to let go of. But the energy to me is indicating today that like we've made it through that period of time. Things are gonna start relaxing a little bit now moving forward through the rest of summer, and we are about to experience maybe the newness or the fresh energy that has been struggling so hard to like find the light of day over this past couple of weeks, where we have had all of this like very repressive, very tense square energy going on, and Mercury has been retrograde, and it just generally, I mean, because in Mercury's retrograde, like I said, has been so like just impactful as well over this period of time, because of the planets in the signs ruled by Mercury, and Mars and Jupiter wanting so badly to just like explode forward with new ideas and new information and new opportunities, and like just like really take charge and like lead the day, seize the day, like start going in this whole new direction. But in that square to Saturn, it's like all the breaks and all the resistance and all the limitation and all the drawback and all the interruption, all the interference, and then Mercury ruling Jupiter and Mars as well, moving backwards. Like, you know, it's just been a bit of a sticky time out there. So we've come to the end of that, I do think. And as of today, essentially, we are at the point where a lesson has been learned, some type of information or message has been received, and it is of a nature that would release us from some reoccurring pattern or like karmic cycle somehow that we've been enmeshed or caught in. As remember, you guys, we are currently in a transition of ages right now. We are moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, and as I always say, a major part of that process is our ability to actually receive and embody these new elevated frequencies that are coming to the planet in like greater and greater doses right now that represent the age that we're moving towards. And as we do that, we anchor them to our paradigm, which lays the foundation for the changes that are going to lead to this totally new age that is coming in over this next 2,000 years. Like, we are essentially, our energy bodies essentially are beginning to align themselves and reflect the frequencies associated with the age of Aquarius energy. And you know, as above so below, microcosm macrocosm, as we do that, of course, we are going to begin to change in a lot of ways as well, as a result of the ways that we're adjusting to the new energy coming in. And the new energy coming in, it is upgrading us, but it's upgrading us in a way that is actually re-empowering us and realigning us with our authentic purpose and our authentic potential, because Aquarius and Uranus is an energy all about facilitating like a higher plan to come to pass. Okay, it's about aligning the path to a greater evolution in alignment with a cosmic blueprint that is calling us, you know, forward right now, actually, to a 2,000-year age of Aquarius. But after that, we are actually moving towards 10,000 year, or we're throughout the course of the next 10,000 years, actually, I should say, we are moving into a golden age energy. So essentially, our transition into the age of Aquarius is a reawakening to a higher connection to like authentic cosmic consciousness, and our real like place in the universe, and like the true nature of the universe and the experiences that we are a part of here. And as a result of that, you know, obviously it's called the Great Awakening, what we're going through right now, and that's definitely a component of it, this enhanced level of awareness, which is what a lot of this energy is doing. And that's why on this channel we narrate the shift of the ages, so that we can gain a greater understanding of what is going on in our lives and the world around us, and how our experiences now actually play into the past and into the future, like our ancestry and our heritage and everything that has led us to this point where we're at, and the experiences that we go through in that context, and where we're headed next as a result of the changes and the choices that we are choosing to make now in terms of this cycle breaking energy, which is exactly what I've been talking about. So if you guys are following me, it's all coming back full circle, which Sabian symbol of the sun today, a merry-go-round, that's what it's supposed to do. We also have some other very interesting symbols that are presenting themselves in the context of the Mercury direct today, and the finally separating squares that we have going on. It's really interesting. Like I said, the degree position where Mercury himself is stationing, 22 Leo, a carrier pigeon fulfilling his mission. Like, information has been delivered, the lesson has been learned. But we also have Venus at 29 degrees of Virgo, a man gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll he is reading, right along those same lines. And again, the informational component of things. And we also have Jupiter at 19 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is in a museum. A large archaic volume reveals a traditional wisdom. Like, both of these degrees of Venus and Jupiter, both in Mercury signs, Virgo and Gemini, they're both talking about like ancient knowledge, traditional wisdom, like things from the past, right? And then we've got the carrier pigeon fulfilling his mission, like a message being delivered. And then we've got a merry-go-round, like things going round and round in circles. So again, like, that's why I'm saying, and you know, then also bring into it the fact that Mercury is stationing direct today. That's why I'm saying, like, something about the past could be coming back around, but we're seeing it maybe like through an upgraded or a broadened perspective somehow, or through the lens of some type of experience or wisdom that we've gained through experience. And as a result of that, maybe it's altering the way that we are going to, whether or not we're going to continue riding that merry-go-round. You know what I mean? So, you know, pay attention, because it does just seem like there are important lessons that have gone on, or important information that may have been gained over this past couple of weeks. So all of that, you guys, like in terms of the general vibe of the day, with the emphasis on Mercury, like I said, is likely to be a busy day. It could be a very fast-paced day. Things are starting to finally be able to move again, maybe like kind of noisy as well, like a lot of like phones going off and like people in your ear and stuff like that. But we do have a harmonious energy going on. We've got a moon in Cancer making a sextile to the sun in Virgo. These separating squares happening. This is a much more harmonious, chilled out, calmed down, most likely vibe than, you know, we've had going on, except for the chatter that's probably in the busyness maybe that's associated with all that Mercury. It is also giving maybe some dreamy vibes. Energy, physical energy could be quite low with Mars now coming into square with Neptune. That's something that is probably, if you find yourself over the course of the next week or the next couple weeks or so just like feeling diminished in your strength, or, you know, feeling a little bit weak or tired, or like you just don't want to like do this, put the same amount of like physical effort and like gusto into stuff that you usually do, that's what Mars square Neptune can do. It kind of just like makes it harder to be like as physically like vigorous and active and vital and stuff. And it also can really lower the immune system and stuff like that. Don't push yourself too hard, and get some extra rest if you can over this next like couple of weeks. That's sort of, you know, the best way to use your energy when we've got a Mars Neptune square going on. But right now, you know, let's focus back on Venus, because so much is going on with Venus this week. She's in a square to Mars, which is separating as well, but she also has a trine to Uranus, an opposition to Neptune, an incoming trine to Pluto. She is changing signs, entering the sign of Libra, at which point she will begin conjoining both the black moon and the south nodes. So as I mentioned in my video for yesterday, Venus is a major energetic focal point this week, aside from the Mercury emphasis on things as well. Venus opposite Neptune, this can be a very like dreamy, idealistic, sort of like in a fantasy rose-colored glasses type of energy. It could be a very strange time in the context of relationship dynamics. They may seem, you know, one way one time and then totally different the next. There could be, I mean, think about it. We've got Venus trine Uranus. That's like, first of all, wanting to make some radical changes, maybe wanting to do something different, wanting to spice some things up, not wanting to like continue like the same old like mundane day to day in the context of relationships and other people, like wanting things to be new and different on some level. But it can also bring like shocks and surprises and things happening suddenly in the context of relationship dynamics. And then opposite Neptune, this can make us like way overly idealistic about stuff, like rose-colored glasses. It also can present disappointment in relationships when like things are falling short of the ideals or the bars that we've set for them, and like the disappointment that can be associated with that type of thing. Venus moving, and then also it can just it's not great, like not great investment, commitment, relationship getting into type of energy. A lot of times when we've got harsh aspects with Venus and Neptune, things end sort of like in a disappointing fashion, because again, like they don't measure up to the ideal that was like dreamed of or envisioned or fantasized about, like whenever we got into that situation. Okay, rose-colored glasses is a major theme when we've got Venus opposite Neptune. Also, then Venus, you know, moving into the trine with Pluto, this can be very like, this can bring like obsessive or compulsive tendencies, like really wanting to be like deeply connected to things, like get to the root of things, get to the core of things, very transformative. It can bring up issues with like power and control and stuff like that as well in love. And, you know, it presents its own whole issues, but can also be very, very transformative or regenerative or healing. And Venus entering Libra, of course, this is really going to like put a strong emphasis on the Libra Venus energy, feminine energy itself. And then coming into the conjunction with the black moon in Libra, Venus's sign, and the south node in Libra and Venus's sign. This is when, well, we could be really moving away from some of the more toxic or shadow side components of how we relate to ourselves, relate to others. We could really see some things or gain an awareness perhaps of maybe some of our own deeper issues that maybe have been causing like toxicity or just like the more darker sides of the way that we relate or features of our relationship dynamics that we're in, but it's really heading for a period of some type of release again, in terms of like some type of attachment or enmeshment or image or like value system or something that has changed over the probably the course of this past couple weeks, and us finally being ready to like let go of something, walk away from something. And again, this whole concept and theme of ending, breaking like karmic cycles, karmic ties because of some personal upgrade or personal maturation or expand and broaden viewpoint that is changing things for us in such a significant way that we're just not willing to continue to entertain the same connections or presentations or however the Venetian energy is being impacted moving forward. Okay. So the Mercury station in the sign of Leo in a mutual reception with the Sun and Virgo, likely to really be shedding some light on what truly makes us happy, like what really lights us up inside, what really makes us feel alive. And our relationships moving forward are probably going to rearrange themselves to reflect that. And maybe that is what we've learned over this period of time, like what it is that we truly desire, what it is that truly makes us feel alive and that we really are attracted to. And maybe as a result of that, we no longer have an interest in entertaining, you know, some of the relationships that we've been enmeshed with from the past or something like that. I don't know, but we do want to be careful with investments and commitments right now. Things are probably likely to be looking maybe just a bit better than maybe they'll actually turn into. Again, that whole like rose-colored glasses theme going on. People could be idolizing other people or seeing them as perfect, especially with Venus in the sign of Virgo, opposite Neptune and Pisces. There's an inability to see the flaws in things that might normally be much more like on the surface. Like, it's kind of like we're not seeing the red flags, okay? Like things are looking much more perfect than they actually are when we've got this particular alignment going on. So again, just be a little bit careful. Maybe this is, I will tell you, a very, very super creative energy, very, very strongly supportive of some type of divine flow of inspiration, creative inspiration for sure, that is manifesting through art, writing, speech, performance, music, any like creative, personal creative self-expression. Venus and Neptune and really any aspect promotes the flow of divine inspiration manifested through art, beauty, you know, performance, something like that. Mercury, like people could be being very dramatic, very performative in their expressions of things. People could really be putting on some big shows today if they've got something that they need to express or say as well. But yeah, vibes should definitely shift today, and we should start feeling the pressure come off a little bit, moving now through the rest of the summer. Tensions being released, things are starting to flow. We do still have the Mars-Neptune square that we need to get through before we're going to really start to see the progress, because that also breaks down the ability of like our energy to like truly be effective and things again. So not the best, even though things are starting to open up, we still want to sort of like take baby steps. Okay. We're like moving slowly, and it's not that we need to be cautious with things anymore, although we kind of do because of the Neptunian influence. Again, we don't want to sort of get sold on something that is not exactly what it is. So just like a bit of caution maybe needed there, but we just do kind of want to be slow and careful as we get rolling again, as things are firing back up. And after we get through this Mars Neptune square coming up, I do think that things are going to start feeling just more supportive generally of whatever it is that we're kind of trying to get off the ground right now. But it's not going to be the same level of intensity and obstruction that we've probably been dealing with. So things are looking up. We are moving in the right direction. Pay attention, right, to what you've learned or figured out over this past month. Could have some very relevant or valuable inclinations or meanings, or it just could be like the missing piece of something somehow that helps in some maybe future pending choice or decision, or in terms also, right, of something that comes back around and something that we are ending so that we can move forward and begin something new. Also, endings and beginnings. 2024 is a year featuring very, very prominent both of those themes. Having been at the crossroads of something, having, you know, come to like a final point of no return, moving forward, knowing that there's no going back, having to face the struggle of knowing that there's no going back and the only way forward is forward. But, you know, there's a lot to be overcome before we can start seeing the results of the direction that we're moving in. Like, all of that type of stuff is the journey that we have been on throughout the course of this year. And yeah, things are going to start, I do think, moving in our favor a bit as we move through the months of September. But again, like, a lot of this is going to be centered around major changes in relationships. So that's what I have to say. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute. As I was saying earlier, it's really funny. Like, these tarot cards to me are talking about a breath of fresh air, sort of like the heaviness and the challenge and the difficulty of everything that maybe we've been enduring through or going with finally coming to the end, it marking sort of like a rebirth in our process right now that is allowing us to start moving forward and to start feeling like a bit inspired again. Let's talk specifically about the cards. First of all, the cards that came out of the deck, we had the Ace of Wands and the Page of Wands. Of course, that is like this new burst of energy, this new inspiration to start moving forward with something new, to start going in a new direction, maybe to, you know, look at some of the new opportunities that are presenting and to be a bit optimistic about our potential, about what we can do, what we can build, what we can grow, what we can create, and the outlook of the future moving forward. Now, on the back of the deck, we had this series of 4 cards that is literally like saying a lot of the very same things. Look at this. We have the 6 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. We are moving away from everything that has been just stealing our life force or holding us down or, you know, just making us feel like we can't go on. Or, I mean, it's the 10 of Swords, right? So that is what we're moving on from. That is where we are no longer staying. We are going on from that. And then we have the Death card in reverse followed by the Fool. So both of these cards, this is like, and where are we going to after this? Like, we may have thought it was the end for us. We may have thought, like, 10 of Swords, like, this is it. I'm done. I can't go on. But really, with death in reverse, it's like we're coming back to life. This is actually a rebirth. And then we've got the Fool here, right? We're like, not only is it a death in reverse, a rebirth, but now we're starting a whole new journey. Now we're on the precipice of something brand new. Now we're feeling like re-inspired and hopeful and optimistic and like wanting to face the day and the rising sun, you know, and go in a new direction and seize the day. And we're like feeling re-inspired about life somehow. And that's also being like doubly indicated and emphasized by the Ace of Wands, which gives a lot of these very same connotations. Like, look, we in the Page of Wands, like, all these guys are holding the wand, like, they're all holding the stick, they're all like, it's a much more just like we're not feeling like we're so heavy, we're so run down. Like, it's almost like a level of maturity that has been gained that somehow puts us back into like that more youthful mindset, and like we're ready to like embrace change and like the opportunities that it represents. So I don't know, you guys, in this spread is both representing, you know, feeling like we had come to the end, like we literally just couldn't take anymore. But like literally right after that, like we're ready to go again, you know, like there's a sudden reversal and like now we're re-inspired. And with the 6 of Swords, like the 10 of Swords energy, that is what we're moving on from. And what is replacing it is this like fresh perspective that's coming through. So things are looking up, you guys, we'll put it that way. I'm going to grab us a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what's one additional piece of information that might benefit us as we move through this period of time? And our card for the day says, God's the boss. The boss. Who is then that faithful and wise steward? Luke 12:42. You must do your job joyously and faithfully in the knowledge that God is your boss. Your subconscious will then respond and promote you and remove obstacles to your success. Have a constructive vision, be faithful to your vision, show respect for authority, and you will be prospered along all lines. Like, again, this is talking to me about like honoring, like essentially like this the Saturn energy, honoring Saturn, you know, having patience, you know, like moving slowly, being faithful, right? Like working hard, having respect, and ultimately knowing that things are opening up for us. We are moving in the right direction. We just need to continue to put one foot in front of the other, to not give up hope, and to, you know, continue to move forward with the understanding that now the wind is going to come back in our sails a little bit, and have faith that things are happening in divine order. And whatever we went through, you guys, it was necessary to pull something out of us that is going to be an essential part of who we're becoming next. Okay, so God's the boss, we know that, and that's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would also be interested in this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for your presence here. What you have to say means so much to me. The value that you add to my channel through your comments is really very meaningful to me, and I really appreciate when you guys share your experiences with me, especially if they are lining up with what I'm talking about in these videos. So if you want to do that, there's my comment section below. Thank you guys so much. I love you all so much. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard, I have a link in my description to a Facebook group where I post images of these boards. So if you want to see that, that's where you can find it. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. I believe that I will have another video out, and we will get into the energy of the weekend and what things are looking like for us setting up for next week. So I will be here to talk about that. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, you guys. Have a really beautiful midweek and Mercury direct day, and I will see you next time. Bye.